Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Jose, Arwin, and Sleeping Warrior. Good to have you.
Hola.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Morning, what's up?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nope.
Not of the Earth-based variety.
No.
Signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
Any evidence that we can have gas pressure without a container?
Never.
Did I hear a yes?
No.
Never. No.
About the distance to the sun? Anybody got any of that?
There
There's
is
no
none.
distance to the sun, Nathan.
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
Well, I presuppose, but no.
I don't think we'll know that unless we dig down, right? All the way to the center.
Scientific evidence of gravity? Any of that?
Nope.
Not yet.
No.
Fair enough. What about the presupposition itself? The R value, radius, gentlemen. Any evidence of that?
Nope.
Sticks in the ground, baby.
Sticks in the ground and shadows on lights in the sky. Well, that concludes the housekeeping quicker than normal.
Yay! So, Ruhif. Would you mind sharing my screen, please, Nathan?
Yeah, sure.
I have a date to dine with this dumbass. Real bad dumbass. Alright, so we've been asking recently for the distance to the sun and what's the science for it. And we've been asking, where does it come from? And Ruhif has given a different answer, generally speaking, than Simon Dan gave. Simon Dan, for the benefit of everybody else, if you recall, quoted Venus and radar as the main science for how they know the distance to the sun. In this video, it's basically quite a good video in terms of telling a story. It's a lovely story, just like Rumpus's stories. Not very much evidence for it, but basically it's the last kind of 10 seconds. The main issue is, the main issue is once he goes through his lovely story and he gives loads of lovely maths, it's like when Tesla described Tesla's famous quote about mathematical garb that dazzles and confuses, but yet bears no resemblance to the real world whatsoever. This is kind of exactly what's happening here, because the whole conclusion, the crescendo of his point is this. If we know the angular size of the sun and its actual size, guess what we can work out? Well, you don't know the actual size because you don't know its angular size, because you ballers are all stupid and don't know what the angular size actually means. The angular size is not simply measuring the angle. It's measuring the angle from a set distance. That's how you get your actual size, Ruhif. You need to know your distance to get your actual size. Measuring the angle from the observer is only half of it. It's two-tailed, the test. It's not a one-tailed test. Measure the angle at a certain distance, and you can check it. You can check all the citations. I had this with GeoStreamer. I went back and forth with GeoStreamer on that angular size is a sum, angle size is a measurement hangout. The infamous one where where Soundly was heard feeding GeoStreamer in the background. You might want to check that hangout out. It was very interesting. But the conclusion is the angular size you do not know because it's from a set distance. So the whole of this video is based on this word, if. If we know the angular size of the sun, which we do not, and its actual size, which we do not, guess what we can't then work out because we don't know it. So
Distance.
Ruhif, lovely story, lovely maths, dazzled and impressed with mathematical garb. Still relies on that presuppositional angular size though, doesn't it? Yeah, it does, doesn't it, Ruhif? Unfortunately, you don't know the distance to the sun or the actual size. You need one to get the other. So I'll ask the question again, Ruhif. How do we know the actual distance to the sun? Can't use angular size. You can't use ratios because there's an overlap. The ratio becomes an actual size at some point, and that's all we've got to spot. When does it become the actual size? So I'll ask you again, Rumpus. Have another go, mate. Tell me what the science is. How do we know the distance to the sun? Where does the actual number come from? Where does it overlap between the ratio, and which is obviously relative, and the actual positions and the distances, the actual ones? Where's that overlap? Well, there's always a point where it flips, and it's sleight of hand. And in your video, you slipped it in the last 10 seconds based on the last minute's worth of talking. So literally the last 10 seconds, he speaks that fast in the video that you don't even catch it. And I wonder whether that was intentional or not. My second point with regards to Ruhif is in this comment he put in here. It's the one where No Simon Dan comments. No Simon Dan, I'll make this bigger so it can be seen. Simon Dan's comment to Ruhif is, as usual, fantastic stuff. I'm sure the word salad will be free-flowing in the response to this. Now, there's no word salad. I'm very clear and very precise. As Armin would say, very specific. There is an overlap. When that ratio, the relative distances, becomes actual, that's the overlap. Where does that come from? But in this, Ruhif claims, where is it? Ruhif's comment, there we go. Anthony has me blocked on Skype and Ranty has me blocked on his live chat. Ruhif, of course they have. Lol, idiots. Well, I'd like to just take this opportunity to remind people why it is that Ruhif is blocked on my Skype. You know why I've blocked you, don't you, Ruhif? You are dishonest. You simply ignore that light travels in straight lines on your model, which citation for that is Fermat's principle on the trajectory of light. And the effects of refraction are negligible. I've got 3 cited documents that I can cite to you. Tilly, shut up! I've got 3 documents that I can cite the word negligible in. Negligible requires a definition, and I've asked you to provide a definition for the word negligible in this context. I gave you a contextual definition of less than 5%, but 7/6, as in the radius of Earth, as a percentage represents 16%. I asked you for your authority of 16% counting as negligible, and I gave you a very generous example of 5% being statistically significant in research methods. Anything less than 5% is not considered significant. However, you did not get back to me with something to support 16% being negligible, yet still push unfounded science that light bends to the degree of 7/6R, knowing that there is no science to support you at all. That is why you are blocked. Perhaps no Simon Dan can help you with an authority for the negligible refractive index values of Earth, being 0.00003 to 5 compared to 7/6R, because this figure, 0.0003, is minuscule compared to 16%. So tell me, gentlemen, in context, 0.0003 to 5, is that similar to 16%? Can either of you scale, or are you both as dishonest as each other? I have my refractive index values of air, hydrogen, oxygen, etc., and they are nowhere near 16% or 7/6R. So this is why you are blocked, Ruhif, because you still push the narrative that light bends to 76R and there is no science that supports it. Refractive indexes of air is 0.0003 to 5. It's nothing, basically. You might as well have the number 0. That's why you're blocked, Ruhif, because you refuse to accept that 76R is grossly misrepresentative and you've got no science to support it, but you push it anyway as your religion. I'm done.
Terrestrial refraction is part of their religion. 76R. In R they trust.
Yeah, but there's no science for their 76R.
Oh no, it's just part of their religious belief. But they must assert it because they believe in R. So 76R, well, so what? You know, you're going to believe in R, you might as well believe in 76R.
It bugs me when he plays the victim card when he knows damn well why he's blocked. There is no science for 76R. Light travels in straight lines.
Yeah,
It
terrestrial
varies
refraction.
minutely in the atmosphere.
Yeah, terrestrial refraction. You're talking about real refraction and measuring stuff, not an arbitrary 76R.
Yeah. Because he's full of rubbish, he tells.
Yeah.
He's just dishonest. He refuses to address the missing, 15% or so, 15.9998% that's missing, yet still tells people that light refracts. No, it doesn't. Not to the extent that you guys need it to explain what we see. Like Nathan says, we just see it because it's there, not because it's being loomed. I'd hit it. Apart from the Coriolis, but we won't go into the Coriolis thing. That's a George comment.
But if I say the body of science says so, that makes me smart. And if I say math is reality, does that make me smart?
Math is no, it makes you a dick. Because I noticed that Arwin was on mute. I didn't feel rushed. So thank you, Arwin. Going to make a brew.
Yeah. When you had your medications today, you'll calm down. Sorry, I had to.
Speak up a little bit. Bit quiet today, Nath. What's up?
Naked baby. Fighting to keep her clothes on.
Hello.
Hello, James. Jimbo, how you doing?
Did anybody see the harvest moon rise last night?
I did.
I know, but hang on a sec. I need to get rid of these dogs.
So, Jimbo, you've got a little presentation or something to explain?
Yeah, I found an interesting balloon that went up to the 100,000 foot mark. And it actually shows a camera pointed up at the balloon and has a slow motion of when it dissolves, evaporates, explodes, whatever you want to call it. But it also, if it's accurate, again, this is video from France from 2014. It has the pressures and temperatures of the ascent clearly marked. So at the 100K, before the balloon busts, just a second, I'm going to borrow some time. I'll be right back, and I'm going to send someone away. Just give me a sec.
No worries.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Again, the pressure at 100,000 feet is very, very low. We're talking 0.00, X pounds per square inch. Very low. But that doesn't mean it's headed up to a vacuum, nor that it is a vacuum. And there's it sounds unusual, but there is a responsible, reasonable explanation for why there can be that much difference in pressure from the ground to above. Now, temperature and pressure are very related. So as the temperature decreases, so does pressure. Okay. And also the composition of what may be up there, this medium, as we get to the outer edge, that place where, well, things are finalizing to whatever the barrier is, because there is a barrier. Now, what could be up there physically? What do we know we have that ascends all the time is all these gases. Now, two of the very common gases that we have are nitrogen and oxygen. Now, under the right conditions, and they're not hard to obtain, and they're available above us, nitrogen and oxygen can mix together and form, it's a very special agent, a very special product. It's called hydrazine. It's simply a liquefied mixture of nitrogen and oxygen. Its formula is N2O2. And I'm kind of thinking that, at the different layers above us, there are different temperatures and different concentrations and different blends of these gases. Like I say, oxygen and nitrogen mixing to form hydrazine is very natural. Now, this, under these conditions, now, the balloon, it's sort of like, wow, disintegrates, explodes, or whatever. We see examples of things that get to a certain altitude and then just blow up. The Virgin Mobile little rocket ship with the guy, it seems to have, when it got to a certain level, literally blew up. Well, here's the thing about hydrazine. It's liquid rocket fuel. That's what it's used for down here. And it's very common, very easy to produce, used in labs. It's just what it is. But I think it's up there. Now, vapor pressure. Why would the pressure decrease so much with elevation? The cold can hold less water. Water in the air creates vapor pressure, the mass, the force, actually the weight of the air. The higher the altitude, there's no water up there. So there is no vapor pressure. And the rest is gases. These gases don't exert a force. That's why they're up there. They're light. So the nitrogen, the oxygen, hydrogen, other stuff that's up there, going to do what it does and keep going. But again, there is an extremely low pressure at that 100K. Something happens at that 100K. And again, my own thoughts, because I think practical, physical world and chemistry and what we know about physics and the chemistry of gases and stuff applies above us and below us and anywhere. So the most likely thing I suspect is up at that altitude is a layer of hydrazine. But that's where I can end this. But anyway, I'll post the link to the 2014 video. It's from the French studies and stuff, so it's in French. It's the music is in French. And it's a joke. The music is just music. But I'll post it, and it has a beautiful slow motion of the actual explosion of the balloon, and just some great footage, temperatures, pressures, etc. If it's accurate, then, well, that does give us a really good idea that it is an extremely low air pressure at 100,000 feet, but not a vacuum. And there is still a barrier, but there's something else going on at that altitude and those temperatures with those gases that make up our world that does something. Could be partly electrostatic too. When something gets up there, it just zaps out. I don't know, but anyway, I'll post this link. And again, there's no question, it's extremely low if this is accurate. And it just doesn't answer a lot of questions, but it is what it is, and it opens the door to more questions and possible understanding. I'm not saying that I'm right about any of this, but it's just a new piece of like little film that I had slipped the view of flat earthers and other people in the discussion, and I would just try to get my mouse where it belongs.
Is this the one that you mentioned at the beginning, pointing up at the balloon as it goes up to 100K?
Pardon me?
Is this the video that you mentioned at the beginning that you're about to post? Yes. I'll put it in the chat then.
Here. Okay, here, I'll post it in this side chat, and that should be the French balloon launch. It's a About 15
This is an
minutes
ad for a
long, I
project
guess.
management tool called Monday.com. This is what it looks like.
I think this is a spectacular video, man.
Well, I've stuck it in the side chat. Check it out. Be sure to come back.
But on the question of altitude and pressure, yeah, it's great. It is devastating, the differential, and that tears things apart, you know. It just pressure of a vacuum and low pressure is just tremendous, you know. It just destructive. But anyway, like I say, I try to look at things from a practical, physical point of view. I don't try to pull ether and dark holes and dark matter and all kinds of garbage. Like I say, what's up there is the gases that were down here, and they're in some kind of cycle. And up there, it's damn cold. And up there, there's no water per se. The water stops capping out at about 70,000 feet. And that's the upper heads of most thunderstorms there. Cap out about 70,000. So above that, it's water-free, no pressure. The vapor, the water in the air gives vapor pressure.
Are you familiar with superfluid helium?
Yes, but again, there's a bit of like what I believe an absence of the matter. You know, if there were that much up there and it is a gas, it'd be in some type of cyclic motion, right? We have the hydrologic cycle that's very active in our environment, the air, other stuff, and it's only to a certain level, right? It's not
So does that mean
practical.
does that mean then that you don't think superfluid helium actually exists in the real, or like the realm that we live in, whatever universe, and I say that word loosely? You think that
Well,
doesn't
I
actually
look.
has to be synthetic?
One of the biggest components that we see around us in mass in our environment is the water. Rocks, even a lot of people, they look solid, but most of them, and a hell of a lot of them, are made with the water of crystallization. Many rocks wouldn't exist as rocks without their water of crystallization. You know, rocks, you know, buildings, people don't realize they're being held up by water. Cement is a mixture of like calcium oxide and water. The biggest ingredient in cement is water. Water holds up buildings. Water makes rocks.
Nah, it's not. The biggest ingredient in cement isn't water, it's cement itself.
I beg to differ. There's more water in chain than there is calcium. More weight ratio of water.
Water creates the chemical reaction that makes it hard, but the
Creates
water
chains that
evaporates.
interlock. The water does not evaporate, it incorporates. It becomes part of long chains that interlock.
Could be.
Not could
Partially.
be. That's it is. You need to get some education. I'm Roger over and out, but at least I got the point in that yes, there is an extreme vacuum, low pressure above us at 100,000 feet, if this is accurate. And something happens to material when it hits this, like the balloon,
Yeah.
like possibly the Virgin Galactic. There might mean there's no going up. There's
Water
no going
spreads
past
like
that. Not for a shuttle, not for a balloon, not for a Virgin Galactic, maybe not for nobody.
So how high do you think this is?
It says 100K in the video.
So it would make logical sense that it would be the same distance laterally as well, left to right. So suppose the Earth is indeed the flat plane that we think it might be, then the distance or the proximity of the sun's relationship to the environment or the atmosphere in which we live, you could deduce logically that it would go laterally as well as vertically above us by the same distance. In other words, if we carried on going to the edge of the computer game, would we just get to like a wall of...
No, what you get is a logical horizontal flyback killer and sweep trace killer. And then you move your, well, light or whatever, if it's only light, move it to the starting point again, like a flyback. It's fast. You don't even see it. Switch, high-speed switching. You know, I'm looking at the sun like a cathode ray tube, like a oscilloscope. It's a flyback circuit, a huge flyback circuit, but it's mechanical construction and the result of construction and electromagnetism that's below creates the sun, stars, the moon. That's just my own opinion. There is something up there that keeps our air in, and it's cold as hell when you get up there because there's no need for heat. Birds don't fly there. We don't. Oh, not supposed to anyway. When we
Instinctive
do,
design, right?
I really do believe myself personally, absolutely designed and created,
Yeah, it has to be
100%.
created. It has to be designed. I agree.
Yeah, I'm
But
on that boat. A
it
creator.
have to be about a religious being, though. It can be some other
No,
form.
no. I don't believe in religion at all. They're just
What?
mind games for people to, give us your money, go work, slave, feel guilty, and keep giving us your money, buy your heaven. And no, these are
What?
just leeches, religions.
What if in actuality the Earth realm was simply always there?
I don't think it was. It had to be made, and there's so much
Yeah,
folkloric
but
history,
what if
Armageddon battles for this place and stuff. It
there
didn't
is a
come out of
design to it? That is
midair.
absolute. That is
Yeah.
inherent. But creation assumes non-existence, and it could simply
No,
be that it was
why?
always
That's
there.
sad you say it, but I don't know that. I could. That's an assumption, but I couldn't. You're saying that as a statement. It's possible. Yes, it's
No, just
possible.
as a
No,
possibility. It's what I do.
sure,
It can't
sure.
always be there. It has to
Why
have
not?
originated from somewhere because it contradicts. It contradicts the state of physicality, right? You can't have something that's always been there.
Yeah,
It has to
that's.
have come from somewhere.
I have no
Well, you
clue how you
can't
make
prove a
something out of
beginning,
nothing. I
basically.
have no clue how that would
That's
be
right.
done.
Unless you
can't
can prove
it.
its beginning, it remains an option.
Well, I can speculate that there has been a creation, that we're all part of it, and this environment and world and everything in it is part of that.
But
That's about it.
how can you prove this? You
I
have
don't I
proof
don't
of it.
have
We have
to.
proof
See,
of a
some
design.
things you don't have to really prove. If you know that genetics couldn't have been accidental,
Of
that
course,
mitochondria
I
can't just
know, I know.
happen
That's
from
why
a
I
pool
say
of
it's
mud
a
and lightning,
design. But creation
then
is a
what else do you
process.
need? You know, I don't know. We can accept that there's no Santa Claus, that it's Dad, and Uncle Bill or whatever.
Yeah, but there's more
But
We
evidence that
can
we
Santa Claus
if
disprove
if
evolution and
we
prove
know,
that there
yeah,
is a design and how
yeah,
that works. But creation is production.
yeah. We're
That
not here to prove creation or God. We're
insists
here to
that it
indicate
was
whether
not.
the Earth is flat
Jesus
or not.
Christ, man! Just let
I
me
don't know.
finish my
All right.
freaking sentence for once in your life.
Well, to be fair, Arwen, you
Jesus.
do the same thing.
Oh,
We can
Anthony, why are you
disprove
getting involved?
evolution.
Hey, Everett.
Alright, guys, should I?
Hello.
That's Bryson, how you doing?
I think you're just quiet. I'll turn you up.
He's
Cheers,
there.
buddy.
As I was saying, we can disprove evolution through by practical means what is possible, what is out there life-wise, how the mutations work, how crossbreeding works. It is all there, and there is a design to it. This is inherent in all life, if you really look into the details. But creation is not just a saying, it means to fabricate from nothing. Where there was none, suddenly there is. That is creation. And there is no proof of this. It
Well,
seems logical.
okay, hold
I'm
it,
not
hold it.
done yet,
I know you
dude. I'm
won't
not
finish,
done
but
yet.
yeah, your definition of creation is taking a long time, as long as creation itself, conversations, and I don't know. Look, all I'm saying is that, okay, the idea of your creation that way, where something has to have started at an initial point, fine, from that point of view, but creation of what's here now and continuing to process and evolve, that's creation. It's in the now. You're talking about before anything. Another definition of creation is what we're living.
Creation, as a saying, creation, the
Yeah.
earth,
So
everything.
creation
What is
when?
there? It's
Back then when it
designed, but
started,
we
or
have no
now?
proof that it was
We have
fabricated.
proof now. We're
We
here.
have no proof that gravity exists, so either, are we?
We can fabricate things, but we are part of it. So what fabricated it where it was not there? See?
Right.
There
So it
is
has
no
to have come
physical
from
proof for
somewhere,
this. So it might have just as well been always there. It sounds
No.
surreal, but
That's
it
like
is an
arguing that the
actual
future-
option. That's all I'm saying. Just unraveling the assumptions here. Baseline approaches.
Not unraveling. Not
They can
unraveling.
tie you down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I just remind myself that there's no evidence of gravity either, are we?
Yeah, well, if you there
There's
is
evidence
plenty of evidence.
fingers and
There's
skin,
plenty of evidence for it.
keys in
That's-
hands and mics in hands, but gravity itself.
Well, I've explained gravity, what it is, what I've been able to deduce, and it's a lot directional pressure,
I got to
the
take care
alignment
some
of
stuff.
density and
Thanks,
buoyancy,
guys. Bye.
how to add other forces, what happens. Okay,
Yeah,
no,
but you can't prove it though.
no, I can prove it. I just can't prove it scientifically.
Well, you
It's a
can't
very
prove it. We've had this
specific,
conversation.
narrow thing that I can't do with it, and that is
You can't
what
prove it,
seems to
Alan.
be very important. So, sure,
You can't
I
prove
can
it,
prove
Alan.
it
You can't prove
scientifically,
it
but
in
I can
science or
describe
out
it.
science.
Hello, Alan.
You can describe whatever you want.
I have a big bundle of correlations. It works out.
Yeah, correlation is not causation, Brenda.
I know, I know. You don't have to tell me. That was ridiculous, by the way. But yeah, I'm still working on it. I still see openings there. I think.
Hello, come here. Hello.
Right. So let's move on.
You got lost, Alan?
No, I'm waiting for the man from Amazon again.
What did you
I
order?
haven't seen you for a week or so. Have you been upset by someone?
No, just been busy. Taking advantage of the rainy weather.
What are you ordering?
Any evidence of gravity for us, Alan?
Oh,
Now I'm done talking about it. I made myself pretty clear.
Alan, I said.
are you two bickering again?
No.
Well, you weren't here to pick on, so we had to pick with each other because you weren't here. But
Why
now
would you
you're
pick on-
here.
Why would you
We
pick
can pick
on
on
an
you
old man?
instead.
Why would you pick on an old man, Tony?
Because you believe that we live on a spinning testicle, Alan, don't you?
Oh,
Any
you-
proof of curvature, Alan?
I hear you repeating Dell.
You hear me repeating Dell?
Doesn't Dell say that?
No,
Ooh.
he says bending water.
He says,
No, he says bend it water.
Let's do that again, Owen.
Bend it water.
No, but
Fantastic.
his sentiment is accurate, though. His sentiment is correct. Do you have an issue with his point?
No. What Dell says, what's really his trademark saying is there is no debate. What
I
is
agree with
that to debate about?
But if we don't have a platform for a debate, it means that everybody that comes into Flat Earth misses out on the opportunity of realizing that not only is the debate over, but they get to see both sides of the argument, not realizing that it's already over. Dell is quite right. There is no debate. There is no evidence. They cannot prove the shape of the Earth, cannot prove the concepts in which they believe are true, like gas pressure existing next to a container, or without a
That's
container.
just spinning ball religion. Yeah, anyway. Nobody can do Dell like Dell can.
But there are so many aspects in this game that all we can do is speculate because we, just the members of the panel, if we don't know how something works, it doesn't mean it can't be. But let me take it further. If we as humans don't know how something works, and if all we got is theories, the best explanation because we really don't know, it doesn't mean it cannot be. I mean, it can be anything for Christ's sake, you know. We just got some theories that kind of make sense, but that's what we're breaking down, where if the theories hold weight or not, you know. I don't know if I was understood. Maybe it was word salad, but I tried.
Alan, how does gas pressure exist next to a vacuum without a container?
It's gonna be gravity, won't it?
Let's just see if he commits to an answer first. Any answers for us, Alan?
Sorry, I was making a cup of tea. What was the question?
Any idea how a gas pressure can exist next to a vacuum without a membrane?
Oh, gradient.
Pardon?
Gradient.
A gradient can't exist next to a vacuum, Alan. That would defy the second law of thermodynamics. Have you not been keeping up to date with the flat Earth debate?
Not really.
Oh, no, that's not an answer that's acceptable. It doesn't happen that way. The second law of thermodynamics stops that one. Want to try again? No. Okay then. We'll not take an answer off Alan. I get more sense out of my dog that's whimpering at the minute.
No need for that, Tony. Bit low, my friend.
Well,
Oh, she's squeaking.
don't have an answer. That's part of your religious belief, Alan.
Not a religion.
Oh, really?
There's
How
a
do you have gas
religion.
pressure without a container? That's the question on the table. Because the reason for the question is because you think you live in a sphere world with no barrier and gas pressure in a massive vacuum. So that's part of your religious belief. It's nonsense, but that's what you believe if you believe you live on a spinning sphere. That's why we're asking. How is that possible when it defies the second law of thermodynamics?
Did you stutter on your script from
I did
John? There?
stutter, yeah. The CIA script had a little smudge where it was faxed.
Was it a smudge like Ranty's Horizon smudges, Nathan?
More like a satellite smudge.
What do you think of Red's Rhetoric retiring
You retire?
Retiring from what?
from YouTube? You're not keeping up with the flat Earth debate.
No, I gave him that
To be honest,
option.
I don't watch Red-
That was the option. One of the options I gave him. He's just, hello, Mark. Is it music? How you doing?
Yeah, Nathan.
Good to have you. No, he's just following orders. He was given two choices by me. Fly away or come here and have your ass handed to you. He chose to fly away. Good for him.
He's been retired then. You retired him, Nathan.
So, did he give a reason for why he's hanging up his boots?
Said he's bored of you.
Probably because he can't find evidence, or he probably realised that NASA don't tell him the truth. It's the only logical conclusion I can come to. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. You can't be a flat earther, a ball earther, if you've spent any time in it, because there is no evidence for it. I can only assume he's been given another assignment from somebody. When did he make this announcement?
He did a hangout last night.
No, I'm not.
Well, the way I see it, he got a P1000 now. He got what, two P900s? You know, because his viewers, you know, helping getting that, you know, a little here and there. So hey, he got his equipment. Now he quits. Now he got more time to hang out. You
Nothing wrong with that. Hit the super chat.
know, right? Yeah.
Shout out to John Watson. I know he'll enjoy that. And his little friend Ute. It's a bit stilted today in here. What's going
Shout
on?
out retracted.
Can't retract my shout outs, are we?
Why would you retract those? Ute and John Watson? Top FE trolls.
Good boys.
I got one shout out to Multi Tum Tum. He keep calling me a chill and a baller. It's okay. Bring it on, baby.
Does he know
That's
you?
because you've been slurred by people from the Pontchartrain side.
I don't even watch Point. Oh yeah. I understand now. I don't care. You can say whatever they want.
Shout
I think
out
it's
to
quite
Dave for the super chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
did he give a reason?
I don't know if I got any respect because he's a Pac-Man guy, right? I mean, no disrespect, Arwin. You're the looping continuous model. He's a Pac-Man guy, you know, so he's different.
What? Sorry?
Multi Tum Tum. I think he's a Pac-Man guy, so I don't have any respect for him. You maybe, you know, yes, because you say looping model. You don't call it Pac-Man.
I don't
No,
say
come on, you got to
it
respect
is the
multi-combat.
I'm just saying it's an option, and it's an option that smooths out certain conceptual problems that other
If we
models
could refer
don't take
to,
account for. So that's all. It's all a
if we could
theoretical
refer to a
construct.
Pac-Man model, if we could
Yeah.
refer to a Pac-Man model as some kind of like 4th or 5th dimensional concept, then I'd be a lot better with that than saying
But
Pac-Man because the
it's
looping some
very
idea
easy
doesn't
to
work.
add that on.
Shout out
It's
to the Mind of
just,
God for the super chat.
but
Thanks very much.
but it's just gonna be a theoretical story added on it. So yeah, I just call it what I think it is, a looping model. The loop is an introduction of a spatial concept, and yeah, it fixes many things design
Hooray
wise.
for conceptual models and pseudoscience.
Yay,
Yeah, I know. I keep picturing the looping Darwin model, and I keep picturing in my mind a hamster wheel with the maps drawn inside it.
Hamster
Yeah.
wheel.
Yeah. Well,
For
not a
real.
hamster. It's just a human wheel, perhaps a very big one.
Isn't it? Like
That's
the
a
train?
possibility.
Isn't it like the train
That's a
station
big
in?
wheel.
Isn't it like the train station in Matrix 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Arwin, on your model, what happens in the corners?
There is no corners.
It's rectangle, isn't it?
No, that's only the total spatial confine, but it loops. So there is literally no corner because there's always the other side that's just right next to it.
That's brilliant. There is no corners. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's me. That's
I
what.
There's no,
understand.
there's no
If you
distance to
keep
the sun
going,
and there are no corners.
hold
So,
on, hold on,
Arwin,
hold on. If you keep going to the left, you come back from the right. I mean, if you
Yes.
go west, you come back from the east. But now, if you go north, you come back down from the north, right? Because
That's
I
a
No,
guess
bit.
you cannot
no,
come
you
up
come
from the
from the
south.
south.
That's a bit like a globe.
No, it's not what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it
It
does.
comes down. You come up from the south if you go north far enough, and there's probably a lot of land there. It follows the pattern of the story of the Norwegian
So,
guy
what
that
makes it
went
different to a
to the
globe then?
North Pole journey. It's exactly what he describes. He went there, other lands, then continued on river. Didn't describe literally a way back, but it was kind of similar territory. And he did end up at same spot again eventually.
No. I'm sorry to interrupt you. If you go up to the North Pole and you come up from the South Pole, no, I mean impossible,
Why
Arwin. You
not?
gotta come down from the North Pole again.
Why do you have to do that?
Because that makes no physical sense.
Exactly, though it doesn't because that makes the North Pole and the South Pole one. One continent, one thing.
No, it's just a
It doesn't.
border.
It's a shortcut.
Just a
If I want
border,
to go to
no
South
more than that.
America, I go up to Canada, keep going to the North Pole, and then I gonna come down and hit Chile.
No, but look, if it's looping, it's going to be looping north to south as well, and that simply means that there are more realms like our known continents to the north and potentially to the south. Maybe completely different to the south. I suspect it's just a lot of landmass with rivers, and to
All
the north
bollocks.
there might be ocean and then more land.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
might
know.
be.
There's
So
so many
what?
stories
This is
about
all
what's to the
bollocks.
north.
Why are we talking about this? It's all bollocks. There might be loads of things.
Yeah, it's possibilities.
Wow.
Not
There
bollocks.
might be loads of things, but
Options,
there's definitely no
legend.
corners.
Just Fantasyland.
Well, there's maps.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of them.
Yeah, the regions, the giant mountain ranged islands, the four rivers, and the ocean in it, and beyond. Apparently, potentially, there is a land, and uh, as is said, the Nazis basically occupied that land or had alliances with the locals there beyond. They
so
said it was inside the Earth. It was very weird. The sun just like disappeared in something else
so
and it
Arwin,
became visible.
you
A
think
gaseous cloud that
so
radiated light.
Arwin, are they hiding more land and God?
That and what?
Are they hiding land and God? Is that the conspiracy?
Well, they're trying to take control, and to hide God is to take away his spiritual, natural authority. as to give yourself a good reason that becomes culturally acceptable. And yeah, control is what it's all about. So yeah.
I'm trying to visualize your world though. Is it more like a cylinder shape?
Yeah, I guess it's not really physically like that. It's just it's all flat. It's a flat rectangle and it loops on all sides. It's all perfectly flat. But yeah, if you want to
Like a sphere.
interconnect it, then you could connect the sides and then bend it. It's not
That's
literally going to be
funny.
bent into
Anthony.
a tube, but it's
Like a
not
sphere.
literally a tube. It's only then a projection. That's
So something like a Mobius strip.
yeah, yeah. The Mobius disc, Mobius strip is one of the
Well, a Mobius
elements
strip has
that
got
I
edges to it.
entertained. It is an option. Could even explain a very remote possibility as to a cause of gravity, but
Cause,
yeah,
you say?
so far away.
Cause?
It's gonna take beyond like 3 of my lifetimes to ever be able to prove that, if ever.
Rouse.
It all depends on how much
Wow.
land is
Like
to
the
the north
awake
and south.
souls, like the awake souls model, like a sphere projection.
This is all bollocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's options, it's possibilities.
I
You
got
don't
I got
know.
a little deep diversion of this subject. Alan, I want to ask you a question about the harvest moon. Do you think the moon is bigger or it just appears bigger, and why? What are your thoughts on the moon yesterday?
Yeah, it's bigger by a lot.
Atmospheric. Who knows?
They say it's an illusion. They say it's not, but it fucking is. You can watch it change its size. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it definitely appears bigger.
But they say it's an illusion.
Well, it appears bigger. Appearances are appearances. It's an
I
apparent
could
thing.
physically notice the difference with my
They say
eyes.
it's actually the same size, Nathan.
Yeah, sure, but you don't know what it is. So, do you know if it's actually bigger or appears to be bigger because of atmosphere? We've got no idea what's causing that. None. So it's interesting.
There's no
pretty.
size to the
It
moon.
was a lot of difference. I'd say 20% size difference. It was I could see it with my bare eyes, the difference.
Yeah.
Usually minor deviation in size, but this time it was like big difference. Big.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I could see it with my eyes.
And the only explanation on the heliocentric model would be that it's zoomed in towards us, like some kind of cataclysmic collision that then suddenly reverses and goes back to its normal position.
Maybe.
So it definitely appears bigger. Now, is it bigger, Alan? Is there an explanation for it to look like that? On Alan's, point of view?
Can I just ask a quick question? Has anybody got anything other than a just so story for why it does it?
No.
Right, something like
I
science,
can't
maybe.
explain it.
Okie dokie then.
We don't even know what the moon is.
Precisely.
So
There's no distance to
there
it.
is
There's
nothing
no
else
size to it.
just stories.
Very pretty though. Look nice.
Mm-hmm. And it was cold. Very, very cold.
Yeah, it was quite cold last night, to be honest.
It was a clear star night last night. Barely any wind. And yeah, crystal clear. Could see a lot of stars. The moon was very bright.
Frosty this morning
It
when I
was
woke
very
up.
cold.
Frost on all the rooftops.
Yep. Well, not over here, but it was very cold.
How very English. We're all talking about the weather.
Indeed. Have you
Also
got a cup
very
of tea?
Dutch.
Because there's no other evidence to talk about, Alan, unless you know something about evidence that we don't. Take that as a no.
No, the harvest moon is an interesting illusion. It's,
Yeah.
Illusion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're saying it's like, is it like looming, where it's not actually what we see? It's being created in some way, and it's not actually there. Is that what you're saying?
well, that's how they refer to it, isn't it?
Correct.
That is how
And-
they refer to it, yeah. But I don't think there's any illusion in it. We see what's going on because that's the way our eyes work.
Can we just corner you, Alan, into you saying that you think it's a physical thing we can travel to and that it's actually changed its location and the atmosphere creates an illusion and all that kind of crap? The main bit being that you think it's a physical thing we can travel to.
Yes.
Why would you think it's a physical thing that we can travel to?
Well, even you believe it's a sphere.
I have no idea. It looks and represents itself as a sphere, but I've no idea what it is. There's other shapes that could be creating the exact same effect.
Like,
Like like a
Cookie.
biscuit shape, a button shape. I've seen it
a
modelled.
button.
Yeah, a button.
I think you've been in the house too long with Eleanor.
No, it
Biscuit
was embarrassing when I said it the first couple of times, but I've just seen it modelled with different shapes that create the exact same effect. So to say, and up until I said that, I would have agreed entirely with you. I'd have said it represents itself as a sphere. You can see libration. That for me is enough to say it's spherical. And then when somebody else showed me it modelled it with a completely different shape, I had to take a deep breath and go, right, so it might not be a sphere. I just don't know. And I'm happy with that. I just don't know.
Happy with that too. Just knowing that there are other possibilities that might work. I'm happy with. I don't know.
But we diverted a little bit, Jose. So
I'm not happy about not knowing, but I'll be honest enough to not.
But Alan thinks he
accept
does know.
illusions as real.
We're all in agreement, Arwin. But other than Alan, who does think he knows, it's a rock and it's a sphere shape. Correct, Alan?
Correct.
And
Yeah,
how
that's
would
a
you
tricky
know
one,
this?
Alan. I don't know. You should prove that.
How could
So,
you
Alan, if
possibly
it's
know?
a rock, Alan, if it's a rock, would you agree that it would be tangible by nature of it, by virtue of it being a rock, right?
Correct.
Tangible. We can land rockets on it, yeah?
Yes.
Why does it go missing at new moon for 3 days for every soul on the planet?
Yeah, try pointing a laser at it then.
I mean, it's not visible. I don't think it goes missing like a lost child.
It's not visible to any soul on the planet for 3 days at new moon phase, and the heliocentric model doesn't explain it.
Yeah, go and find it with your radio waves.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like a lost child in the respect that there are literally people out there looking for it. They're not calling its name out loud, admittedly, but there are other parallels with missing children and people searching for missing children because people are out searching for the moon when it literally goes missing, disappears.
Well, if we need a moon expert, we best get Pete in here.
Is Pete a moon expert, is he? Okay.
He claims to be.
Pete Shea.
Yes.
Aristarchus?
So I'm asking you, what's the explanation for why it goes missing for 3
I
days
don't
on
know.
your model?
You talk to me as if I know the answer to everything.
I know, but you think you know what the moon is. You said that before. You thought it was a rock, right? So how does a rock go missing for 3 days for everybody on the planet?
I don't know. The world's a wonderful place.
Not really. It's predictable. It shouldn't go missing on your model.
Are you on some new meds, Alan? Because you sound very...
No, I don't take any medication.
Okay. Right.
Do you?
Just ice cream.
No.
I thought you liked a bit of the old horny goat.
What?
Would you class horny
that's-
goat as medication?
I do take it sometimes, but not regularly.
Where'd you draw the line? If I take a paracetamol, am I medicated?
I think you.
I take tea every day.
Tea?
You're trying
Bloody
to-
hell. If you're going to class tea as being medicated, I don't know where... I'm a drug addict, that's it. Tea, sometimes
Just
an
got
aspirin.
caffeine in it.
You know what I
Caffeine.
mean?
Does it have caffeine?
Yes, Cassie.
So about that moon,
caffeine.
Alan.
I don't know enough about it, Tony, but if you want to talk about
It goes missing for 3 days at new moon phase every single month. I'd like to know why. I don't understand it.
I know you don't understand a lot about the moon. You lost that bet, didn't you, to Mr. Taylor?
So no answer then. You don't know, but you're happy to just be in denial, right?
I don't know.
But you said you did know. You knew it was a rock. You knew we could travel to it. You know all sorts about it. We all don't know a thing about it. You seem to be the one in authority here, Alan.
Yeah, I think it just gets bored and wanders off.
Have you got any evidence for that assertion?
Come on, Tony.
Where is your scan?
Come on.
Hey, look, if you
It
can
can't go missing on your
measure
model
the
for 3 days
distance
and
with
not have
radio
explanation.
waves, then where is it? Point it out with some radio waves where it is when you can't see it. Show us that it's there.
Alan, but they were in the moon from the 69 to the 72, right? Humans been there, right?
Guess we're not going to get any answers.
No,
Yeah,
I guess not.
Alan's an old
Anybody
man.
else knows why the moon goes missing? New moon phase for 3 days. Come and give us the explanation. I know it's something to do on your model. It's something to do with, well, the sun's behind it, and we're seeing the bottom, the reverse side of it. Yeah, Soundly can get Earthshine. So why does it go missing? And Soundly's the only one that can get it.
Is it something to do with the celestial longitude?
No, it's something to do with ignorance.
No, tell me more, Alan.
Well, isn't it in the same vertical line as the sun?
So you're saying it goes behind the sun?
No.
Well,
Why
Sounds
would
like
it
you're
do
saying
that?
that.
if that's the case, if it goes in front of the sun, wouldn't we have an eclipse? Alan?
I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
It's alright. I said if it goes in front of it, wouldn't it cause an eclipse?
According to Tony, there's an eclipse every month.
I'm asking you, our resident moon expert.
I'm not a resident moon expert. Who
Well,
made me
everyone
that?
else says they don't know anything about it. We don't know if it's physical. We don't know. You know all about it. You know it's a rock. You know it's out in this thing called space, even though you haven't justified how we have a gas pressure without a container. So you've got all these religious beliefs about these things in the sky. But when we actually ask you any questions about him, we get answers like, well, it just wanders off for 3 days.
Well, I like to be vague, pretty much like, where's the dome? Where's the edge of the ice?
What
All
dome?
that kind of
What
stuff.
ice?
Where's Molten Iron Core, you mean?
Yes, let's be vague about everything. Makes for a great show.
But you guys all believe that you know exactly, it's all mapped out and you can make predictions on your model and stuff like that. And I want to know, how is it possible on your model that the moon goes missing for 3 days? Because on your model it doesn't go missing for 3 days.
Wanders off for 3 days, apparently.
Yeah, it just wanders off.
That's hilarious.
That's the beauty of a religion. You can just make shit up. If you don't know the answer, just make it up.
Well,
I love it.
you seem to be in a good mood, Nathan.
I'm always in a good mood. I do what I love.
So, about that sun, Alan B,
Tony,
Buddy,
Anthony.
how far away is it?
Depends what time of the year and the orbit. Could
Roughly.
be 91.
Roughly.
Could be 91. Could be 93.
Okay. How do you know that?
It's been measured.
Excellent. Who measured it?
By who?
I think Ranty did it with a tape.
No, definitely not. I can speak for Auntie and say he definitely didn't measure the distance to the sun. I've asked him multiple times.
I don't think
And
any
I would
human
support
ever in
that, so-
history have measured with the tape any to the celestial bodies, anything with the measuring tape. Just speculations and guesses.
Is that your last answer then? Ranty measured it with a tape.
Oh,
93 million miles.
I'm just making shit up.
We know. It's a beautiful religion, heliocentricity.
It is. Lovely. Full of lovely stories. A bit like the Bible, isn't it? Like that many stories, it could really be called the Bible. Heliocentric Bible, right?
Yes, what part would you play in it? Would you be the antagonist?
No, I'm. I don't know what part I could play. I'd have to think one up. I'm
Wow.
sure the ballers will be able to give me a role.
Shout out to Zach G, who wants Nathan to shout at me.
To shout at you, Alan. No,
Yeah.
not at all. I'm going to lead us in the audience in a blessing. Gravitas Dominus, Radius Spiritus Sanctus, Arwin. Go in peace, in R you trust. And with that, I'll say also a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know what to do, but if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!